the start, many of my colleagues have asked me about the title of this presentation.
Thank you. I was saying that many of my colleagues were asking me about the title of this presentation, and they find the title a bit weird. And for the sake of explaining this, I will just introduce you to my friend, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He is a Colombian writer who won the Nobel Prize in the year 1983. And the awarding committee at the time of award said that his writings were a wonderful mix between fiction and reality. His novel, Love in the Time of Cholera, is one of the world-renowned novels. I have inspired the title of my presentation from this: Project Management in the Time of People. And for me, what's common between the two is the wonderful mix between fiction and reality. I will explain this a bit, but let me introduce myself. My name is Nazir Othman. I'm Vice President in the Jihaz Holding Group in Riyadh. And in the meantime, also I'm a student at the University of Reading doing my PhD in construction management. Much of my bio will be on the printout, so I will not go on that, and I will get directly into my presentation and the question about the fiction and reality. And I will start by the reality. I think I've got to go there, sorry. Okay, I'll start by the reality, and unfortunately, I do belong to an industry which is construction industry. It is among the top 4 industries in the world, but the industry lags and suffers of a lot of aspects of inefficiency, lack of innovation, low productivity, dissatisfaction of the client, lack of automation. You can mention as many as you want. A construction guy who was working in the late 60s in construction visited a construction site recently, and he said, "You guys, this is the same what we used to have in the 60s. You may have bigger excavation now, you may have bigger cranes, and you have this magic thing which is the nails gun. That's all." So these scholars are taking this evidence as indication of the lack of innovation in the construction industry. This lack of innovation has resulted in a huge lack of productivity. In this graph, as you can see, the construction industry compared to the other industries. All the other industries, the trend is on upward when it comes to productivity, while the construction over the 50 past years kept almost the same rhythm. So it's a huge productivity. Is there any relief? This is what I am here today for. I'm here to introduce the BIM, the Building Information Modeling. So what is the BIM? Is it a procedure, or knowledge, or software, or technology? I can confirm you that it's all of them. It's a process. It's a procedure. It's a technology. As a matter of fact, it is a paradigm shift. It's a change on the way we think how to design and construct buildings. And I will explain in details later. But there are some definitions, of course, in the textbooks for the building information modeling. I have put a couple of those in the presentation and in the printouts you have. but I will not go for them. I will prefer to give you a practical demonstration of what the BIM is. And I will do this through explaining the evolution of the engineering, drafting, and design history. We have been forever working with two-dimensional design, which is we call it the 2D, either manually on paperwork using the traditional old drawing boards, or maybe 40 or 50 years we started using the computer-aided drafting, the CAD system, and much more recently we use also to do some presentations or representations for the buildings using 3D models, which are again developed from 2D models. So the domination is for the 2D design, and there are a lot of defects here and shortcomings with them. We all suffer from missing information with the 2D drawings, conflicting information, clashes, and lack of communication. Besides the paper-based communication. A project of $10 million consumed 7 trees in order to generate the papers required to carry the information on. So it's one disaster again about the industry. Now I do believe we have a relief again in the BIM. So what is the BIM? BIM is an extension of this solution. In the BIM, we are using 3D objects in designing, but in a different way. So instead of using lines and arcs and circles to design the building, we are using pre-designed 3D objects which are already placed in the library. We are dragging them into the model, and as such, we are building the design of the building the same way we are constructing the building itself. This means that no more lines, no more circles, no more curves. You work using 3D objects. And after assembling the building, you can generate as many 2D sections as you want. As here in the figure, you can generate plans, you can generate profiles, or whatsoever it is. So it's a relief for designers, because the data is not redundant here. If you have one door brought in the object, it's one door. To be shown, the section has one door, to be shown on the elevation has one door, and as such, it's a magic brick. But this is not the magic of it. Still, we have not reached the picture. When we are talking about reflected ceiling drawing like this, if you are